About 2 weeks ago, I hope you'll remember I recorded a message for our board members and delegates who will be joining us this year at Expo for our annual gathering. At that time, I said we were wrestling with working on our agenda for Congress based upon the information we had gathered from many of you over the last 2 years as we've prepared for this transportation reauthorization. Rest assured that in our conversations with Congress up until today, we've been following your ideas and concepts and incorporating them in to everything we've been talking about and everything in a transportation bill that we've been advocating for. The one thing that we've learned in the last several years is that Congress is a very different kind of organization than it was a decade ago. As you know, based upon the political discussions that take place on the news every day, Congress is a very difficult environment and a very difficult one to get progressive and positive things accomplished. The deep political divide has created many complex issues for us and for community and public transportation. Based upon what we heard from you and what we've heard in Washington, we think it's time to focus the message better about community and public transportation. And at this gathering, we want to talk to you about some simple tools that we've developed to focus on why community transportation is vital to the nation's future and how Congress can help us make sure that the important work that you do is continued. In looking at what we heard and looking at what we've written, we think there's really almost like an XY axis between what we need to get across to Congress this year and in future years. The X and Y of our axis are this. There are things that community and public transit does better than anybody else, and there are ways that we do it that are also better than anybody else. In a simple environment where simple messages are important in a political context, we looked for ways to best sum up the message of community and public transportation and what we do. The answer to that is found along the x-axis, which is the things that we do that are most important to the communities that we serve. Universally, community and public transportation are key and important ways that Americans get to work or that they get to their medical care. Although we do many other things, these are the two predominantly most important destinations of community and public transportation. And that's whether you're a large transit agency, a small one, or even a specialized provider. You'll see that that destination line that defines our x-axis talks about why we're important, because without us, people wouldn't get to those services. And although we complain and express grave concerns about the medical transportation issue, it's important to understand that that is a vital role that only you and many of our members can actually deliver. If we look beyond that, we also ask the question, what makes us special? Why are we people that Congress should invest in? And how can we communicate that need to invest in community and public transit in a way that's understandable? And I think that message is fairly simple as well. We're deserving of their support because you represent the most innovative way to deliver transportation to people who have limited mobility and limited mobility options. Community and public transportation organizations around the country deliver their services in a variety of different ways. Some in large vehicles, some in large buses, some in rail, and some in volunteers. Some in large vehicles and small, using whatever means is necessary to fund the innovation of community and public transit. That innovation pays off in one important way, and that is affordability. No one delivers transportation services at the price that you do, and despite all the arguments we have with intermediaries and brokers, we know that community and public transportation is the best bargain for the delivery of services, whether it's helping people go to work or helping people go to the doctor. So those are the four sides of our question about the what and the why. We're those people, and we're deserving of your help because nobody does it better than you do. So when we're at the gathering this year, we're going to talk about the way we turn this into a simple message and a simple tool. And we're going to discuss how these values of work and medical transportation, innovation, and affordability play out nationally. But we need you to help us explain how they work locally. So I'm going to ask you to spend a little time thinking about those destinations that your service or the service that provides transportation in your community delivers that concept of work and medical transportation, and what makes you special in the way you do it. The other thing we'd like to hear from you is how are you innovative at the local level, and how does your commitment to innovation make your service such a financial bargain? When we're done with that exercise, we're going to produce two different sets of information. One, a national perspective on it, and two, the local perspective, and create a map, let's call it a roadmap, on how you communicate this to your member of Congress, that in the end will give you a one-page, let's call it transit information card, that you can share with your members of Congress during the next several months as they continue to talk about investing in transportation. A simple message of why and why you're the best. So I'm looking forward to seeing you and discussing this in more detail at Expo's gathering. So the most important thing is to think about the way you reach those people who go to work, the way you get people to health care, the innovation that you bring to your community and your transportation service, and why you are the most affordable success in America's mobility. So, until we see you in St. Paul, I hope that you have a good opportunity to think about some of these things, and that we'll be seeing you soon. So, thanks again. Thanks for listening to this message, and thanks for listening to my previous one. See you at the gathering, and goodbye for now.